Ian Garry Ian Garry just gave Makhachev his hardest fight in his career besides Volkanovski won at UFC 330. And we're going to be recapping the entire card, talking about it. Main event was all right. Islam stuck it up near the end, point fighting, trying to just hug for dear own life after getting a ton of damage accumulated on his face by Ian Garry. Ian Garry won the fight. Makhachev won the UFC bout. It is what it is. Um, Great performance from Makhachev. He's officially top two all time behind John Jones. And I don't think that's controversial. Who do you put above these two guys? Makachev could have passed John in dominating fashion if he did dispatch of Ian Garry and kind of revert back to 155 Makachev, but I think that version of him is gone. But let's get into the main event, talk more about this one. Islam Makachev beats up, manhandles Ian Garry for a good amount of fight. Um, Round two was really, if I'm being honest, his only magnificent dominant round. Round two with the head kick that he landed, Ian Garry retreating, caught him completely off guard. It's the ones that you don't see that hit you the hardest. And I think that's really all it was. Ian Garry was not in any true danger. He got dropped, got stunned, kind of recovered. You never seen the eyeballs go a certain way. Stayed on the base, even though his legs were in the split, whatever. But Islam rushed him, wasn't able to get the finish. This is a different version of Islam. Islam actually is a human. He has a gas tank. He has a mind. He has a brain. He has doubt. He has fear, and we saw that here with Ian Garry. Ian Garry puts the pause on him, then doesn't lose any stock in his performance. Honestly, it feels like every time Ian fights, he's still gaining stock regardless of what happens. I think he's really good. I think he's a future champ. And Islam took care of business tonight. Islam did what he's supposed to do. He is again one of the greatest ever. Not a huge fan of his recent fighting style. This is not something we've seen out of Islam. Islam is known for dominating people. Like Moicano, hey, take him down, submit him. Doesn't matter what he's skilled in. Easy work. Everybody's easy work. Not seeing that at welterweight. He's the one fighting, having to resort to game plans. Kind of like a GSP. GSP was a fighter that would they have very similar welterweight styles, except Islam's is a lot more stinkier. A lot more stinkier, but the opposition is a little bit higher. So, yeah, he's stinking it up recently. First round. Herb Dean is also the worst referee in the entire UFC organization. Way worse. I don't know why Mark Goddard wasn't on his card. And I'm not someone that's always hated Herb Dean, like with the Cyril Gahn stuff. Yeah, that was illegal, but I thought he was knocking out Pereira anyway. But Ozempic Herb Dean just hasn't really been a great referee. I couldn't believe that he was standing around watching Islam hug him for the time that he did in this fight. Clapping his hands after a couple rounds. I just don't understand it. It sucks to watch because they would break that up if Ilya Tapiria was getting held or Max Holloway. Someone else like that. If Izzy was getting held for 4 minutes, nobody will watch that, right? So Ian is not getting the same treatment by the UFC and the fan base. Sucks to see. Islam did what he's supposed to do. Again, I guess, yeah, he has amazing fight IQ, okay? He has grit, amazing wrestling, things that we know. But overall, when you look at, okay, who won fights, I mean, this was two judges ruled this a 49-46. That is not correct whatsoever because Islam did nothing in the fourth round. Nothing in the fourth round whatsoever besides hold Ian. Ian landed all the damaging shots. There's a picture before the third round started and after the fourth where he basically all that damage on his face, he accumulated all in the fourth round. Not even a third where he easily lost that one. So this was 2-2 going into the fifth, and Islam gritted it out. High IQ, GOAT stuff. Can't really hit on it too much, but not great for the sport. Ian's actually trying to fight. People come to the UFC to watch fights, not hugging contests. So shout out to him. He's a GOAT. He would strangle all of us. But yeah, not what you want to see. Not what you want to see out of the GOATs. Anderson Silva wouldn't do this. I think to break that record in this fashion, come on, man. Let's have some pride in how we handle our fights, right? Let's try to get people out of there. Khabib was getting people out of there. So let's keep doing that, Islam. Let's stop resorting to just doing a classic Marab to win before Marab did damage and got finishes. Now, we don't want to see that. That's the worst fight style in the UFC. But good fight here still. I can't hate on it. It did get pretty boring once Islam was obviously holding. I think Herb Dean needs to go. How do you ruin the main event by not separating hugging? No one wants to see that. Make Islam stop hugging. Mark Goddard, I believe, was the ref in the Strickland versus Hamza fight. He wasn't gonna let Hamza just hug him. So I don't know why we're still letting that occur. Let's move on to the next one. Again, another snoozer. I went to run errands during this fight halfway through the third round. This was very boring. Mackenzie Dern did what she was supposed to do. Overwhelmed her with Valium, got the takedowns, beat her up on the ground, held good position, had her way in every form of combat. She showed levels in this fight. Jillian just really not on the same level. She did have some success with control, but didn't she's just really not dangerous on the feet or on the ground, honestly. Anything throwing punches is just not dangerous with Jillian Robertson. And that's the case with most of WMMA. It's not really in a great spot. Mackenzie Dern just defended after being pretty inactive. We had the Wei Lee, who used to run this division, versus Shevchenko fight. Shevchenko stunk that one up. Kayla Harrison's dealing with a neck injury, but she should have a super fight with Amanda Nunes. Don't know where she's at. She's been going for like 9 months. But yeah, I mean, good fight for Dern. Handle business. Doesn't really do anything. This entire card, the theme is just not really meaningful, Like, hey, Islam won, but he didn't really win. But he won. Dern wins, but Roberts, like, come on. Like, this is just just kind of it's just a fight. Just a fight to put on the calendar. Jalen Turner knocks out Fernandez. Fernandez, wow, 4 strikes thrown. One was like some spinning elbow weird stuff. And Jalen Turner punished him for it immediately, knocked him out immediately. Left hook right from the hip, just put him out cold. Jalen Turner is very good. I can't believe the odds on this were he was only at a -120. Jalen Turner has potential to be top 10 at lightweight if he just locks in with his fight IQ. He's lost himself a lot of fights, but he is really talented. And he's not light work for anybody. You're not going to chin him. It's very hard to chin Jalen Turner. It's very hard to stand up with him or dominate him on the ground. Unless he gets tired, we do see him get tired and kind of lose it. And then just somehow gives up a sub in just the craziest way possible. But yeah, Jalen Turner, for the most part, you're going to have to be very, very skilled in some department. Cal Fernandez is a good striker, but you're not better than Jalen Turner on the feet. The power is too much. It's too by the book, too fundamental, all that crazy stuff. It doesn't get you anywhere with Jalen. He's eventually going to time you with something powerful and put you out, just like he did with Cal Fernandez. Monster Abdul Malik, I've been rooting for this guy. Wow, -700 favorite. Monster Abdul Malik gets broken by Dustin Stoltzfus in the second round. Second time this has happened to Mansour. Again, I want to root for this guy, but it's just he looks like the best fighter ever for like 2 minutes, and then I think it's all the muscle carry, the oxygen from his body, because his body language at times is just terrible. It's just really terrible. He's just flailing out like he can't breathe. Like I can't. Like he's just literally just not in the fight anymore. Cardio is really bad. I don't know what's up with that. I know he's working hard. I'm sure he's eating good. He's in amazing shape. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. Dustin, good showcase from him. Dominated him in the grappling. I believe in the pre-fight, he used to train with Mansour, and that was a thing that they talked about, was that Dustin was the better grappler. He knew he could take him down. He knew he could beat him up on the ground, control him. And that's what he did. He had a body slam kind of similar to Marab, and Henry just picked him up, dumped him, beat him up on the ground, threatened him, did a lot of damage. Almost got him out of there on the ground with the ground and pound, and then got the neck, choked him out. Mansour, I don't know where he goes from here. Dustin, good win in the hometown. Love to see it, but it means nothing. This is on the main card, unfortunately. So Esteban Ribovics versus Edson Barboza. I don't know why this fight was sanctioned. Esteban Ribovics just walked down Edson Barboza. And the crazy part about watching this fight is it's very obvious that Edson Barboza is more skilled than Esteban Ribovics. But he's just so old and a shell of his former self, unfortunately, that he didn't really have a shot at winning this because the toughness isn't there. He's still tough mentally, but the body just can't hold up. And that's what we saw here. Esteban just walks him down. Again, let's please have higher standards. You're a -750 favorite. Why is this fight even being signed? you're supposed to be trying to get into the rankings, and you're fighting Edson Barboza. But I'm happy Edson Barboza retired. He put the gloves down in front of his family, and he didn't really get, he got TKO'd on the feet. He didn't get like flatlined or anything. Edson's really tough, so that's cool. You know, you got TKO'd, but you didn't just get flatlined like most legends. Not the end of the world. I hate to see just really an just uneventful fight. You know, it's not even entertaining. It's just someone getting beat up by some young guy who's not even too technical, right? Just walking them down with shots. Um, so yeah, Chidi and Jokuani versus Joe Alvarez. Joe Alvarez has some of the worst fight IQ in the UFC. He just stood up with a master of Muay Thai, you know, someone's been doing Muay Thai for 20 plus years, and just beat him up. Just beat him up pretty much for 15 minutes, you know. Easy day at the office, easy paycheck for Chidi. I knew Chidi was going to win this fight. I watched Chidi fight in UFC Houston where he fought Carlos Leal, and he looked very high level on the feet. Like, he's not a bum whatsoever. He's someone that's easily, top 15 on the feet at welterweight. He has weaknesses in grappling, and he's not the most dangerous with his power, but he still has solid power. He's very crafty. The leg kicks are really high level. And yeah, Joel just did not. I mean, really just did nothing. Just stood in front of Chitty, just getting touched up for 15 minutes. Threw a couple leg kicks. You know, Joel has a lot of submissions on his record, and didn't engage in any grappling. I looked into it, and apparently he just doesn't even. He's not even shooting the takedowns. He's just kind of a guard merchant. You know, you get caught in his guard, he's going to sub you. He has good jiu-jitsu, but he's not good at initiating it. You know, imposing at will. Did it at 155. But this is a way different weight class, and we're not seeing the same advantage out of Joe Alvarez. So yeah, his last two fights have been impressive. The last guy he fought was pretty high level. It was a guy from a different organization. So you give him a pass on that one, because that dude's probably going to be in champ conversation after one more or two more fights. But yeah, he didn't. This is just bad stock loss, you know. And Chitty's not trash. Again, he's good on the feet. But for you to have the fight IQ to just stand up with Chitty for 15 minutes and not do anything, just stand in front of him and just get touched up in a Muay Thai fight. Not very high IQ. I don't really get the Joe Alvarez glaze. I don't get it. A lot of you guys in the UFC community, what you do is that you just hear about a certain guy, you know, from someone like Guru or something, and you just stick to him. You just stick to him. If Lucas Tracy says something, you're like, oh, this is the next like BSD, right? We know how bad BSD is now, but same thing with Joe Alvarez. You know, just gets exposed later on. He is training with the right people, so we do see Joel in the mix all the time, but never really, as far as the UFC, ever since like his last 3 fights, we haven't seen anything too amazing out of him. So yeah, good win for Chitty. Charles Johnson, very exciting fighter. This was a Charles Johnson fight. You know, Eduardo, I don't know why his profile pic looks like this. He looked in better shape than this. But Charles Johnson, you know, beats up Eduardo on very short notice, days notice. Good performance from him. He dropped him very badly after Charles was emoting. But yeah, this was a Charles Johnson fight. High output, back and forth, not flawless whatsoever, but ultimately came out on top with the experience, the craftiness. Put him in some crazy submission. I don't even know what it's called, but he twisted him up. Not a twister. Something I've really never seen. I think it's been done like the second time in the UFC. But just some weird stuff. Had his neck kind of in his shoulder. It was just really weird. But Charles Johnson, he's crafty. He is experienced. He's been going a long time. He said he was training that submission. I thought he was losing the fight. I thought he needed that. I thought round 3 was anybody's. He gets it done 1 minute in. So Eduardo gassed out. Charles gets it done. Good bonus win. This fight, another one-sided fight, should not have been made. Eric Makhachev versus Dante Johnson. Just look at Dante Johnson. This dude used to be a lineman. Very powerful, very strong. And he just ran through Eric. He ran through Eric in 1 minute. Hit him with something. I think it was like a straight or something. Put him down like out cold, like really bad knockout. Dove in his chin. Referee caught an elbow too when he was getting up. He almost face planted. This dude was really powerful. You know, you can see the build. He's just carrying a lot of mass. Is coming aggressively. It's hitting hard. I don't think he's going to do it. It's middleweight, and he's not very technical. And the matchups aren't really there. I don't know what this does. You know, Dante beats up someone who's supposed to beat up. Eric isn't too dangerous. He's a vet, but he's not gonna avoid the power of Dante Johnson and an athletic youth for 15 minutes. It wasn't gonna happen. So yeah, sad for Eric. I think Eric has a cool story. I think this guy was the cop. I'm not sure, like a vet. So yeah, that sucks to see. But yeah, Dante acts like he's the next. I think he said he was gonna win 3 belts or something after this fight. I don't know about that. I was slow to roll on that. Got to get more technical. But yeah. I mean, look powerful. I would say I don't even want to say look good. Look powerful. So good win, Dante. Got the bonus too, I think. So cool. Sente Luque, Trayshawn Gore. Luque actually put up a solid fight. This one a complete beat down, but he definitely lost. He lost the fight, obviously, 30-27. Really only he had a good darts choke in, wasn't able to get it. Gore has good jiu-jitsu. People troll Trayshawn Gore like he's just some bum. He's not a bum. He's improved a lot. Um, I mean, I'm not saying he's going for the belt, but Trayshawn Gore is not a bum. So put some respect on Gore's name. He's gonna become top 20. I think he gets up there. Give him somebody decent next. We can see how good he's really gotten. It hasn't been flawless with him. He's went through troubles in his fights, but he's been getting it done with skill and IQ. So Luque, I don't know what we're still doing here. Again, he's not a bum. Vicente Luque, I mean, he's washed, but he's not crazy washed. He's very skilled, but he's just not the same fighter. This is just a puffier version of Luque. I don't like to see it. Um, let's give him one more fight against some unk, maybe somebody who's supposed to have been fight a long time ago. Like, I don't know, somebody in the UFC who hates him, and let him retire. If he wants to. But I don't think Luque needs to be fighting anymore, right? If we're not contending for titles and we're just losing to everybody, it's just what's the point, right? You beat up Gaslam. Gaslam is Kelvin Gaslam. He's more washed than Luque. So but good performance from both. Luque did what he could. He's an uncle now. He did what he could. Gore gets it done as he should, but it wasn't easy. And Luque's not just a complete layup, right? He definitely looked iffy with Joaquin Buckley, but he's not a complete layup. He's all right. This fight, Rafael Tobias, Lucas Fernando. Yeah, Lucas Fernando just walked. He just beat him up. This guy, Rafael, was emoing a lot in pre-fight. And as you can see in the stats, yeah, he didn't really do anything at all. He just got beat up on the feet. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. And it showed. Fernando gets it done. Good win. Tobias, yeah, had really nothing to offer on the feet. But Lucas is a good striker, so I'll give it to Lucas. He's good striking skill. And then we got Neil Magny, Brahimaj. Brahimaj, kind of cool name, good build. We thought he was gonna be good as a prospect. Um, that is not what happened. Neil Magny did what Neil Magny does. He fraud checked him, landed a lot of strikes in the grappling. Overall, just beat him up, gassed him out. Experience was better. Brahimaj couldn't get it done, so with the power and athleticism, and so he just got drowned by Neil Magny and gassed out. I don't even know what that stoppage was. I mean, he wasn't even knocked out. He's just getting beat up. But hey, Neil Magny wins. Good for Neil Magny. We love to see it. No Neil Magny hate over here. He's just the unk, getting that paycheck, beating up some bum prospects like Mike Malott and all them. So love to see it out of Neil. Hopefully he got some money. Brahimaj, I don't even know what we do, man. I don't know what happens here. We're losing to Neil Magny, who is pushing 40. Neil Magny's almost 40 years old. Jeremiah Wells versus Mitabek Otabay. The craziest fight on the card as far as the outcome. Mitabek Otabay is a minus 1,300 favorite. A minus 1,300 favorite. And he almost died against Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells was able to choke him unconscious in this fight. After tagging him too. It wasn't fluky. He was losing a fight, but he wasn't just getting destroyed or anything. He was just losing a fight like usual. Like you should with Mitabek Otabay, right? He's supposed to be a good fighter. So he's losing the fights by the rounds. But hey, third round, he turned up. He turned up early. He hit him. He rocked him up. Mitabek started wrestling. Got fluked. Got thrown in some crazy stuff. Good win for Wells. He retired after. He knows he fluked him. I love to see it. I love to see stuff like that. Hey, hometown heroes getting his win in the backyard. Put the gloves down. Get the money on a performance. Make the 100 bands. Whatever you got base pay. Love to see it. Midabek Orbai, this is embarrassing for his career. We thought, this was a guy that community talks about as being the dark horse. He's been a dark horse for like 2 years now. But I think after this fight, that narrative is just officially over. And it's not because of skill, but I don't think we can trust Midabek Orbai with his fight IQ to really make a push for the elite level. Hey, this is welterweight. Like, what would Ian Garry do to a guy like this? What would like that? These guys would just overwhelm Midabek Orbai, and he would not put himself in a great position. So, yeah, he gets fluked here, but not really fluky. Jeremiah was skilled in that choke. Midabek Orbai getting submitted by another fighter you would think would never beat him after beating contenders in a division. So, yeah, that's the end of the card. Overall, I rated like a 5 out of 10. Main event was the main and co-main, 2 championship fights. It was a good main event, but it got stunk up. I hate to see that. Dern did what she was supposed to do against someone who wasn't on her level. And yeah, we have Monster Abdul Malik and Dustin Stoltzfus, and just executions on the main card. Esteban Ribovics versus Barboza on a pay-per-view main card in 2026. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. I think this week we got Hernandez versus Rodriguez. This fight card is actually solid. Oh my God, yeah. We got some goons on this. So yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. What cards y'all looking forward to. We're gonna see y'all in the